Surviving martial law. Essential tips for emergency preparedness. Number one, you actually have to understand how martial law might affect you. There are a variety of factors that would affect the degree into which your life and liberty might be affected. Are you a person of interest for any reason? If you are active in any group that might be associated with civil unrest, you are known in your community as someone with a visible or public presence for any movements or activities associated with unrest, you may find that authorities are very interested in talking to you and assessing your intentions. Where this could lead is hard to determine. Now, common sense dictates that you should moderate any activities that would cause you to stand out as a person of interest, and if questioned, to remain as calm and reasonable as possible. Now, the next question is, are you essential to the functioning of your community? In the same way that some people find themselves subject to questioning and investigation, people performing essential services during an emergency or disaster are often granted exemptions from newly imposed rules or regulations affecting travel, curfews, or even the right to bear arms. Now, if you made it this far, I need you to hit that like and subscribe button. Now, number two, you need to audit your supplies and preparations. This isn't about stocking up on toilet paper. When travel is restricted, you will need to shelter in place, and that could require a supply of everyday items you need while the martial law is in place. Now, it's very fortunate for many of us to have a new experience of stocking up due to the effects of the coronavirus pandemic. We've all become fairly good, if not experts, at stockpiling food and medical supplies to varying degrees. But the extreme events leading to martial law could result in some new, if not unexpected, challenges beyond food, water, and medicine. Now, power outages are always a possibility following natural disaster, but in extreme cases of civil unrest, terrorism, or economic collapse, power outages can occur just as frequently. Think about any power needs that you have and assess your ability to provide the basic power you need to function in your home or apartment. Now, it seems extreme, but there are instances in some countries where even fundamental communications like the internet and cell phone services have either failed or been intentionally halted. Think about who you need to communicate with, how you're going to communicate, and assess whether or not you can keep in touch when conventional communication fails for any reason. Now, number three is to assess your situation. Cities will be the most severely restricted location due to population density and increased likelihood of unrest, looting, arson, and violence due to the breakdown of local law enforcement because of the disaster. Rural areas will be less affected due to smaller populations and the simple fact that even the military can't be everywhere all at once. But even small towns can attract unwanted interest from the military if a neighborhood or area has a reputation or demands attention in terms of crime or violence. You always need to think of your family situation. Do you have kids in college or living far away from you? What about your parents or grandparents? Is someone in a nursing home? These are the people you'll want to communicate with on a regular basis to assess their condition and safety. Take the time to plan with critical family members about how and when you will stay in touch and what you can do if someone needs assistance. If you have an established bug-out location, you'll definitely want to consider relocating, especially if you live in an area where martial law may be enforced with greater severity. If you don't have a bug-out location, you can inquire with family members and friends who live in a safer location and reside with them until the situation de-escalates. Regardless of where you travel, you're going to want to make the move sooner than later. As stop travel restrictions and curfews are imposed, the ability to travel anywhere may be greatly limited or simply impossible. Number four, you have to stay informed. Situations resulting in martial law evolve and change with time. So do the rules, regulations, and restrictions. Make sure you stay informed and communicate that information to immediate family and friends. A radio is good, reliable option, but you can always sit in your car in the garage if you're wondering where to find a radio. It's quite possible that basic services like the internet will still function. And there's always the TV, but in a power outage, your car radio may be your best bet. Number five is be the gray man. In other words, keep a low profile. Stay home. Don't break the law or any other rules and restrictions like curfews, travel, joining large gatherings, having led to any kind of trouble in the past. Moderate your social media usage. Martial law is a bad time to get too public or hostile with antagonistic opinions. It's a good time to mind your own business, try to be polite, and just keep yourself safe. Don't ever brag about your preparedness. If you have enough food, medical supplies, and water to last a year, keep it to yourself. If it's common knowledge that you have food stockpiled floor to ceiling in your garage and basement, you're going to attract all sorts of unwanted attention you don't need. If you own weapons, keep a lower profile. Don't go hunting. Walking around with a hunting rifle with nervous military men expecting trouble is a bad time to hunt. If you own firearms for self-defense, don't stand in your front yard holding a rifle to show everyone you can defend yourself. Military training assumes the worst when confronted with anyone with a weapon. Keep them locked up. Hide them if you must. But remember that the name and address of the owner of any registered firearm are on file and easily accessed by local authorities. Now, chances are good they won't be going house to house to confiscate guns unless gunfire in the streets becomes a common occurrence. It may seem like that's the time when you would want a firearm more than any other, but the military approach to guns and gunfire is simple and fatal. And that may be another good reason to bug out before the situation devolves. You know, take your guns with you. AP out.